Honourable Mark Mitchell.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to take a call on these. I'm going to talk to all 4 of these supplementary order papers in the name of Chris Bishop. I want to direct my questions directly to the Minister and the Chair, and I want to acknowledge that he has, in all fairness to him, been very good at standing and responding to the issues that we've put forward. Now, we haven't had clear answers to all of them, but at least he's given it a good crack, and acknowledge the fact that I don't believe actually that he does support what is an atrocious and offensive piece of legislation that has been brought to New Zealand's House of Representatives. If we go back to, and if we accept that the argument originally is around proportionality, and the proportionality that's delivered to the House of Representatives at the end of the general election cycle, and then we go back to, and this is why I think a select committee process is going to be very important, because the one group of people that we don't talk a lot about in the House that haven't really been part of the discussion is the people of New Zealand, is the voters. And so I just want a couple of questions answered, and I think that why these SOPs are important, and it's drawn back into the SOPs, is because at least this gives us a chance to do a genuine review of the legislation to see how it's going. But the 2 questions are this, and the Minister has put the proposition to us that it is about proportionality, and it's about the proportionality of our Parliament that's delivered at the general election. That proportionality in this House is delivered through one vote, and that's the party vote. And we have a system in New Zealand under MMP where you have 2 votes. You have one vote for the MP or the person or the individual that you would like to see represent you in the House of Representatives, and you have a party vote for the party that you probably feel is most aligned with your own personal values and belief systems, and that's how it works. The proportionality of the Parliament is delivered through the party vote, not through the electorate vote. So if a member of Parliament, if I was to come to this Parliament as a member of the National Party, and my own party was going to try and implement a policy that was deeply unpopular, thank you, Madam Chair, and as a result of that, I was going to be ejected from the Parliament, then the argument is that we go back for a by-election. But the by-election is not decided through a party vote. So how are the party votes that were made that went to form the proportionality of our Parliament, how are those people that went along to the general election in good faith and made a party vote, how is the proportionality protected, how are their views, how are the voters' positions protected with this bill in terms of the proportionality in the House? Because you're transferring that from the party vote to the electorate vote, and the electorate vote is very different. So that's why I think that a review of the legislation as it's being brought to this House is going to be a critical part in being able to actually give the voters a voice and allow them to actually tell this Parliament what they think about this bill. How are the voters going to be? How are their views going to be represented? And this is another question to the Minister. What if the provisions of this bill are triggered by a party leader supported by 2/3 of the caucus, and the MP is going to be expelled from this Parliament that was voted in here as an electorate MP? How do the voters have a say on that before that happens? Well, I think you're right. They've got no say. So how do they make a so the power sits with the party leaders. So the party leaders effectively can override completely the wishes of the voters that they made at the polling booths at the general election. How does their voice heard? How do they make representations? How do they let the Parliament know that the person they voted in is the person that they want to continue representing them here in this Parliament, whether or not they're part of a party, whether they choose to have a membership to a party or not? How do they stop that? How do they stop their member of Parliament from being ejected from Parliament? And the other point that I want to make clear is, tell me how the people that made the party vote, that actually went to the polls, made a party vote that directly relates to the proportionality in this Parliament, how are their wishes protected? Because if you have a by-election whereby that proportionality is now going to be distorted because the electorate vote has overridden their party vote wishes, how are their interests actually going to be protected?
Sorry. I call the Right Honourable David Carter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and I certainly